Welcome back to Yellow Hammer. I'm Connor, and today we're finally going to be talking about the big thing that I've been hiding. Alright, to begin off with, clearly we've already gotten the fact that I have a 350 now out of the way from the video before, and I've kind of been hinting at it, but we're going to be talking about what happened with my 302. And I do regret to inform you that I became part of the crowd killer category. For a little bit of background here, and I do want to let you all know that that car did not end up dying in a pick and pull yard, more than likely being drove right now, and we'll get into that later. But to begin off with, a little bit of background again. At the Red Mirror event that I went to, kind of why I didn't have the final day on there. It did happen the final day of that, along with, I think, including me, 5 other people did wreck, and 4 out of that 5 did total their car and have a little bit more of a bad wreck than I did. But I'm going to throw that clip up on here now. And to begin off with here, I overtook a car, and it had been raining the night before. It rained all morning, and I'm kind of not fully awake and really not in. I'm going to take blame for it. Clearly, it had been a lack of judgment on my part at the end of the day for driving in the manner that I did. It got up to a hairpin. The back end kicked out a little bit, and to anybody other than me, more than likely would have been like, okay, I need to tone it down a little bit. But I kept the hammer down and kept going, got around to not even a really bad curve, and yeah, here you go. I don't really recollect what happened other than the fact that the car locked up. I don't think it hydroplaned. I think it may have locked up kind of prematurely, and between picking the bank, the oncoming lane, and going off the kind of hill where I had come around at that hairpin, there had been a building down there. I kind of knew where I'd be going at that point in time. I didn't hit the brake up until the fact that I'm like, okay, I know where I'm going now. I'm going to try to alleviate the impact. And yeah, that'll about be all for that. And for about the hour that it took for me to get a tow truck, a report from the trooper, and kind of get everything lined out with the claim, it had been pouring down the rain. The people toward the back of the group that I'd been in, they were very kind and helpful to help me out with if I'd been hurt or whatever, and the tail gunner too did offer to hang around with me there, but I had to talk him into continuing on, enjoying the trip. I don't want to be why they didn't have a good time. Again, very thankful for everybody there, and grateful and thankful for not hurting or killing anybody. I would definitely have a hard time going to bed with that at night if I had to live with that. Going forward here, I'm very thankful too that I didn't get a ticket from the trooper. They were pretty lenient with knowing that I had been in the group for the event. But anyway, go forward to about a week and a half later, got the claim through with, I'm not going to name any name for getting into that why here in a minute, but go through with the claim, and they look at it, and the right fender needed to be brand new, painted, all that. The bumper brand new, needed to be painted, all that. And I think it did end up breaking a little bit of, I think it might have been control arm, tie rod, whatever have you, but that claim total come out to be, to repair, come out to be 12 grand, give or take, and I found that to be very fair. I get that. I'm like, okay, call me back whenever you get that lined out, and I already knew who I wanted to take it to do the repair. and I didn't hear anything from them for about a week and a half later. And I called them and I'm like, hey, I want to know if we had any update yet with the car, whatever. And the guy very vaguely told me along the line of, yeah, the car got totaled out. And I'm at work. I'm, kind of heartbroken about it. I didn't really want the car to be totaled, but he told me that, and I'm like, oh, okay. Can you tell me what got found to lead to that? And well, on top of that, I wanted to know, what led up to that. Did the frame get bent? And he told me, yeah, the frame got bent, very vaguely along that line. That ended up being a lie. And even now, even though everything worked out, I'm very well off, clearly. But even now, with everything, done and out of the way, I'm a little bit kind of mad about that, due to the fact that I had planned on putting the 302 with Hagerty. That way, I could have a track day covered or whatever by adding that on, and it would be like half of what I'm paying, and even half before. I'm a little bit mad that they kind of killed the opportunity for that, due to the fact that that had been a total car, and Hagerty didn't want to have me on there yet, until that had been off the record at minimum. But the one thing will be made known, I do think they were very fair for the value of the payout for the total car. It had like 48K on the clock at that time, and a fairly clean body. I think only maybe one tiny ding or dent in it. Yeah, we get done with that, and I get paid and everything. We're good on that. Went to Copart in Kentucky. I don't remember what part, but it went there, and like clockwork, day and night, I looked on there, to figure out what the car might go for and who might get it. I'm glad they didn't. They didn't take my decal for media off of the window, quarter panel window, and I'm glad they didn't. That way, hopefully, if the car didn't get parted out, whoever bought the car could get in contact with me. And that had been really what I wanted, more than it to die in the pick and pull or be torn apart or whatever have you. But thankfully that didn't happen. And the one day, about a month later, that I didn't go on there to look for it, it had been bought. For whatever it may have been for, the woman I talked to at Copart either couldn't tell me for confidentiality, or they really didn't have any way of looking at it. But either way, when I called them, they told me they couldn't find any info for it, due to the fact that it had been a day later. Go forward again, about a month later, I get contacted by a body repair company or whatever in northern Kentucky, I think near Ohio. I think I might have my geography right here, but northern Kentucky, either way. And they're like, hey, we think we bought your old car. Give me a call at whatever number. And I didn't even know that I got that until about a week later, after they got in contact with me. But when I found it, I immediately called them, and I'm like, hey, I believe I'm the owner of that 302 that you bought. And we got talking in detail about everything that I'd done to it, everything it had on it, and kind of what happened. And they ended up getting the car for 21 grand. At the current point in time, they did a new tie rod, new control arm, I think another part, but I can't remember it offhand. But yeah, they got the car running and rolling right now, no problem. And we got to talking more, and after I kind of told them what happened, I'm like, hey, they totaled the car out due to the frame being bent. I'm like, did you all find anything bent on the car, from the unibody? And they told me no, nothing on the car had been bent. And at that point, I kind of began to get irate at my current provider for doing that. I don't really agree with it. I I kind of took their word for it, and you know, at the end of the day, that had been my fault for doing that. You know, don't think due to the fact that they're here to protect you that they will be, you know, they wouldn't lie to you about anything. And I think they might have done that due to the market. You know, you got higher product to repair, you got time, labor, you know, yada yada yada. But overall, I don't really agree with that, and I am a little bit mad at them. But due to the fact that they totaled that car out, I can't really move to anybody new for a while. And either way, if you don't follow me on any other media, I do normally go ahead and either hint at or flat out tell you what I have going on, you know, before YouTube. And I had a 2200 Vortec kit, 4 twin fuel pump, the whole kit, IDT 50 injector, literally everything to do that car but the old pump gear. And yeah, overall, you know, I'm thankful I didn't put that on before that, and would have had to pull all that off to recoup any value from that. But even before that wreck, I really contemplated on getting rid of all that to build the 302 into more of a dedicated track car. And you know, that really weighed heavy on my mind. Clearly why I got a 350 with an already built to be capable platform. But yeah, the 302 will likely be back on the channel at one point or another. They were talking about hopefully getting that car done and completely roadworthy by the time for a event near me, and they were wanting to bring it down for that, and I would be really happy to look at that car again. I think given the opportunity, I would, you know, provided I had the money and they were willing to, I do think I would buy that car back without a whole lot of thought. It really meant a lot to me, and I hated for it to go. You know, it really opened the gateway for kind of everything that I want to do moving forward. And you know, I mean, you grow a bond with the car the more you do with it. And even now, having a 350, I don't feel that bond with that car that I did with my 302. And you know, it may never be that way. I don't know. But I really hate to be out of the 302 community. I really avidly enjoyed it, and you know, again, hopefully one day, opportunity for me, and you know, hopefully them, if they do want to get rid of it. By the way they talked, they have been looking for one for a long time, and very likely may not ever want to get rid of it. But I do think I'll have another one with the 350 one day, and we'll kind of begin over again. But yeah, now you know the background of why I don't have a 302 anymore. If you're mad at me for wrecking it and getting into the 350, I get it. Believe me, I think about that car quite often, even now. You know, we're here in 2023. That happened in the mid-quarter of 2022, and I think I'll really probably think about that car for a long time. But again, if you're mad at me for that, go ahead and drop a thumb down, or you know, a thumb up, whatever one you may like. And thank you all for coming by.